What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the Extra Extra podcast, right here on the Because Maybe Network. Hope everybody is doing well this fine Sunday, and yeah, Extra Extra, what are you doing? Well, there's a slight problem. See, me and Sarah are going to be recording a 3-part episode on Al Gore's internet. Yeah. But the problem with that is the following. We just didn't have time in our schedule this week to kind of mesh together. You know, we didn't have time. I've been working ridiculously in my 8 to 5. She's been doing all the awesome things that she does. And so, you know, it just meant that we weren't able to get together and do what we needed to do to get a quality episode out there. And with a subject like what we've got, we're going to be recording it all at once, so, you know, we just haven't had the time. In fact, by the time that this is out on the airwaves, but the time this is out on the feed, we'll be done with the recording. Now, it takes about 6 hours for me to edit a single episode of the podcast, because I've got to edit my audio, Sarah's audio, or my audio and the guest's audio, I should say, and then the combined audio, you know, to bleep out any cuss words and just to catch up anything that I missed, and then, you know, all the putting it together, making videos and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to have the time after recording to bring out another episode, okay? So we're going to do this right here. And I guess what we're going to do in this episode, I've got it all written down, is kind of a state of the network kind of thing, you know? I haven't done one of these in a while, but I thought I would go ahead and give everybody a kind of an update on where we are, where we're going, and our plans for the future, okay? So if you can give me just a couple of minutes of your time, we'll get this done, out the way, and then obviously we'll go back to, you know, doing 90s stuff and basically expanding the network, and I will explain that later on in the episode, okay? So let's start with what's new in the realm of the network. If you guys are on iHeartRadio or Stitcher Radio, and that's your preferred listening podcast, we are on those networks now. Last weekend, when when I was going through everything, we managed to get on there, and I know I've branded in some of the episodes coming up, but this is the first time I've actually had to say about it, you know, after it's happened, that hasn't already been in the can. So yeah, we are now on iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, and guys, if those are your preferred networks, go ahead and do that. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that stuff, just to get out, you know, boost our numbers. The more coverage we have, the more people we'll get in. You know, that's the plan. Also, we launched our Patreon page recently. We had a little bit of trouble with it. It should be live now. Just some stupid stuff on my end. That's basically for us to kind of, you know, keep the lights on. We don't take advertising here. And the reason we don't take advertising is simple. I've always been wary of taking on advertisements because, you know, what's the best way to say this? When it comes to promoting another podcast, when it comes to promoting the guys in the Holodecks, when it comes to promoting Luke Elton's Checkpoint Reached, which I've done on the podcast before, I know those guys personally, and I know how they think, how they feel, and so on and so forth. And they don't tell me what I should do in this podcast. They don't, or the podcast series, I should say. They don't tell me, hey, you have to do this. Hey, you have to do that. And there are some companies out there that advertise a lot on podcasts. Some companies that advertise on podcasts that I'm a customer of. I made fun of it a couple of weeks ago, but I am actually a customer of Dollar Shave Club, for example. I just don't want to sell my soul, so to speak. Give up the artistic integrity and cave into sponsorship demands. And I've always said that since the beginning. I'd rather, do things organically, do things naturally. Like a lot of things, you know, we do have our expenses and stuff like that, but, you know, I want to grow, and I want to do things for the audience, not for a company that's going to give me a few bucks. So, for example, you know, if you're involved, you get a say on what we do in certain episodes. We have certain goals that if we reach it, you know, we'll review different stuff and do different stuff that we haven't done before. And I think that's important to do. And also, to be quite honest, you know, I want to grow the audience, as I've mentioned several times in this episode alone, and I want it to be, you know, a community as opposed to just a podcast. That makes sense. So, you know, that's what we're going in with the Patreon thing. And like I said, if you guys, you know, there's different tiers. If you guys can, you know, even throw in just $1 a month, that would help us. It helped keep the lights on, number one, and number two, it helped us to grow. I mean, that's one of the things that, I want to do. I want to start growing. So I'll be able to do things like, hire a proper researcher. I'll be able to do things like, properly advertise the podcast in certain areas and stuff like that. And I don't want to give up artistic control and my audience for the sake of that. So we also are going to be launching a store very, very soon. We're just finalizing the designs and making sure we've got the right license. And as soon as that's done, bang, they're going up as well. We're just going to do some stupid 90s stuff, just a couple of t-shirts and maybe some stickers and, mouse pads and stuff like that, even though we don't need mouse pads anymore, but, And so that's kind of, the admin side of things. So we're on new networks. We've launched a Patreon page that, if you guys can donate something, that would be fantastic, though you're not obligated to. And of course, we're starting to launch some basic merchandise and stuff like that. So let's talk about the future of season 5 real quick. I've had a relapse recently in terms of my mental health. I'm feeling better now, but those things just come out of the blue and just kick you up the arse, basically. So what we're going to do is this, okay? We're going to finish our 3-part review on Algo's Internet, and we're going to have it kind of call this a mini-season. Season 5, Chinese Democracy, it will be over. We'll be taking a 6-week break and returning on December 1st, where we're going to start some holiday shenanigans. We're going to be looking at Home Alone, 4 Rooms, and looking at the Y2K bug, because that's just fascinated me, But the reason that I'm bringing that up right now is season 6 is going to be starting our brand new schedule, okay? And I'm going to go through the schedule real quick. We are no longer going to be week to week with a 90s podcast, for the moment at least. It's too much for me to do. And since I'm doing a lot of this by myself, it's too much. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to do it every 2 weeks, okay? Our walkthrough of Super Mario World is going to continue on its bi-weekly schedule because it's, again, as I mentioned before, it's easy to edit. I just have to watch the video, make sure I don't have to put any graphics up like I did with the Monkey Island or with the Lemons walkthroughs, and we're going to go ahead and do that. Then, when that's done, we're gonna not cut off the game, but we're going to stop the game until the new year. And we're going to be bringing out a new walkthrough of New and Tasty, which is the Oddworld remake. Now, I said in one of the videos that we were going to do the original games, but unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to play the game with a keyboard, right? And I've tried using my controller, and it's just not working. So, if anybody knows how to make an Xbox controller work on a PC game that doesn't allow you to change controls, please let me know. Because, like I said, I really want to play the originals, but if I can't, I'm gonna have to play the remix. So, there's that. But when that does come out, that's going to be a once-weekly thing as opposed to a bi-weekly thing. So that way, we have more time. And I have more time to edit, and I have more time to work, and the quality of everything will get better. Because sometime in the spring of 2020, a new bi-weekly podcast will be coming out on the Because Maybe Network. It's going to be me and Sarah. And it's going to last. It's actually got a definitive amount of episodes that have to be done, and we will give you more information on that when we've worked out the kinks and how we're going to do it and when we're going to do it. Now, I'm announcing that we're going to do something. I'm not announcing what it is yet, and I'm not announcing when we're going to release, because the plan is, and this was the agreement to get Sarah to do it, is that we have to record all of the episodes before I release anything. So that's what we're going to do. That's part of the reason why we're shifting schedules around, and that's my what's the word I'm looking for? That's my concession to doing everything. So, I'll give you more information as the end of the year comes, but that's just something to look forward to, an expansion of the network so far, okay? One more thing before we go ahead and wrap this up. We are actually going to be doing our Movember drive this year, starting on 11/1. I've been asked, let me rephrase that. I asked my family what would be the one that you would look at and not call me, everything from Candyman and stuff like that, which is horrible, but they went with the Lemmy. So I'm going to be growing the Lemmy over the month. And if you don't know what the Lemmy is, it's basically sideburns, full mustache, and no goatee. So I'll have pictures of that. I'll do one every day, and that way we can see what's going on. We will link our fundraising page directly on our social media sites, and I might even drop an extra episode, to let you guys know how it's done and everything like that. For those who don't know, the Movember Foundation is a charity that was linked with the Livestrong Foundation, and it's a charity that looks after men's physical and mental health, in particular the areas of testicular and prostate cancer, as well as depression and anything to do with mental health. And after the last couple of years, you can see why a charity like this kind of brings me in. Like I said, I have been struggling with my own mental health over the last couple of months while the medicines have changed and stuff like that. I feel like I'm getting better, but I also know that could change at any moment. So, I don't want to... The more we have research and stuff like that, the better. So that's why I'm interested in doing the Movember charity. So if you guys can donate even as much as, just pocket change if you go to, it will help end the stigma and help with this, because, testicular and prostate cancer combined with suicide are the three biggest killers of men under 40, and, suicide especially. And we've got to find a cure, and we've got to help the next generation along, because society works best when everyone is equal as far as I'm concerned, and you need an equal number of men, women, and everything in between to make society great. And we don't want to lose a generation of young men due to stubbornness, and so that's why I want to go for it. So I'll put information about that as we start, probably mid-October. I'm not actually going to on Halloween, I'm going to completely and utterly potato my face, which, if you watch the next couple episodes of the Video Game Channel, that's what it's going to be, and then grow as I can and groom, not necessarily just let it grow. So that's really it. So we're going to return next week with our first episode on Al Goes Internet. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. So, guys, if you are on Facebook, Twitter, or Tumblr, look up Because Maybe Network. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, and we've got a couple of others that we're looking into. We're just waiting to hear back, see if we're on there. Go to YouTube at bit.ly/bmnetwork-YouTube. That way you get all of our samples. This episode originated on YouTube, and so on and so forth. And we will see you next week with the Return of the 90s podcast. And yeah, we will see you next time.